Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Sonic Heroes for the Nintendo GameCube. Last time we finished off Team Dark's story, which means that it is now time to move on to Team Rose, starring Amy Rose, Cream the Rabbit, Cheese the Chow, and for some reason, Big the Cat. Now whilst Team Dark's levels were considerably longer and much more difficult, Team Rose is the opposite. They are the easy mode. Their stages are much shorter and they have much fewer enemies to deal with. Now, if you're wondering why all of my save files say 100%, it's because I was about 12 minutes into the recording, about halfway through Ocean Palace, and then my laptop just flat out turned off. And because Sonic Heroes also saves, it meant that if I was to exit the story out, it would bring me back into Ocean Palace rather than the tutorial stage. So, for this part, booting up the old save file, I'm going to play up through to the Egg Hawk, and then off screen I'm going to redo Ocean Palace and the Egg Hawk on the save file I've generally been using, and then we'll continue from there with Grand Metropolis. So anyway, Oma Chow.
Team Rose is recommended for those who are new to action games.
I thought I was playing a platformer, not an action game. And yeah, because we're doing this on a completed save file, we actually can select whereabouts on the story we want to start from. Adventure 2 did this as well. You can't start individual stages, but you can start from the zone. So if it says Seaside Hill, we'll start from the tutorial stage.
We're up! You can count on me!
Okay, here we go!
I wonder where Sonic is. Oh no! Amy, please be more careful with our only clue. You're right, I'm sorry. Nice catch, Big.
Froggy.
Chocola. Hey, you guys, cheer up. You know we'll find them. No time to waste just standing here. Come on, let's get going. Okay.
And there's your plot for Team Rose. Kidnapping. So apparently Sonic is running away with Cheese's brother Chocola and Froggy. So Big's purpose in this game is exactly the same as it was in Sonic Adventure. He's looking for Froggy. Something we spent his entire story doing back in Sonic Adventure. Thankfully, although his main weapon is his fishing rod, there's no fishing. We had Sega Bass fishing, so we don't need to worry about having it here. Big is actually good in this game. He's still my least favourite of the Power Formation, but he is at least good in this game. Now Team Rose, as part of their story, have to go through the tutorial level, Seagate, where, well, if you don't like Oma Chow, you are absolutely going to loathe him here, because he is talking to you a lot. And you can't throw him around this time. Thankfully you can skip anything he has to say, which is what I'm going to be doing here. So I might make a little individual video that just showcases what Oma Chow says in this level for anybody who for some reason likes listening to Oma Chow. Well, I always have him on for Sonic Generations. You know, I don't flat out hate Oma Chow. You know, I really don't have any problems with him except for this stage right here because he talks so much. Now, when I first played this, I actually skipped that bit of dialogue right there that explains the Rocket Excel. Even though I was listening to everything else Oma Chow said, for some reason, and I don't remember why, because it was so many years ago, but I skipped Oma Chow's dialogue there. And that meant that I had no idea what a Rocket Excel was. And as a result, I spent forever wondering what it was I was supposed to do there. How did I get up that hill eventually? It was not with the Rocket Excel, but rather, I got up that hill by continually doing this. I just kept doing Big's attack. He was just able to completely defy gravity and make his way up that slope. It took forever. It didn't be forever for to even begin doing it. But that's how I got up there the first time round. That's not a bottomless pit, and there is a spring that will send you back up there. So if you want a few rings, there's a wide spring. You should never die in Seagate. The only way you can die is by continually colliding with the enemies. Because none of these enemies even have any weapons. They're just the ones that stand around. If you want to, through the single player menu, you can select tutorial, and that will also take you through Seagate. If you do that, you'll play this stage as Team Sonic. There's no way to play as Team Dark or Team Chaotix in this level. I don't know if maybe hacking can get you in there. But in terms of story and getting to this level the legitimate way, there's no way of playing with Team Dark or Team Chaotix in this level. Yeah, Seagate's very short and simple. Goes on forever if you're just continually listening to Omochao, and the stage is probably going to last a good 8 minutes if you do that. Thus, easily making it Team Rose's longest level. But Omochao only goes through the basics. He doesn't explain everything. He doesn't explain things like the tornado jump and the auto homing or anything like that. He just goes through the basics. The stuff that you can find in every team. Half of it's just you explain the speed formation. Most of that is the homing attack. Come on. And then move to a little bit where he explains fly formation, and then he finishes with power formation, and then it's Team Blast. And that's it. You can't even fall off there. There's an invisible wall there. We're closer to Whale Island than we are at the beginning of Seaside Hill. How does that work? And one thing I'm wondering is, in the cutscene that we see beforehand, they're at some kind of beach resort, and it looks suspiciously like Emerald Coast. Like all of the piers, the wooden planks, well, maybe not so much the umbrella things, but it kind of looks a bit like Emerald Coast. I would assume it isn't. I would assume it's some sort of resort that's near to Seaside Hill. But yeah, I want to know where we are. I also want to know who took that photo of quote unquote Sonic. Spoiler warning, it's Metal Sonic in disguise. And he's using the same thing he uses for pretending to be Eggman. But we still never have an explanation for it. He just turns into some sort of silver goop, and that allows him to take the form of Eggman with a fake head. Don't know what the point of the head on the spring is. Camera. I like how I can still see Big's gloves when he's doing. Meanwhile, as this guy does whatever it is he's doing, that was Big's belly flop. Big and Vector don't have any sort of fire dunk or fire launcher. Instead, they have a sort of body press. And that's exactly what Big's is called. It's called the body press. I always just call it the belly flop, mainly because that's what it's called in Crash Bandicoot. And you can do that continually. You can just keep going. He bounces back up every single time he uses it, so you can then just do it again. And Vector has a similar one that's known as the hammer down. I mean, instead of using his belly, he sort of just slams down with his hands together like a fist. Though it doesn't need to be his hands that actually hit the enemies. I prefer Vector's to Big's because occasionally Vector can actually get stuck when he's doing it. Actually, you can do it quite a lot, and that can really help with getting the health down on the bigger enemies. And the boss fights. So that's why I prefer Vector's over Big's. I'm not sure if that was intentional. I don't know why it's something that only Vector can do. But it really helps with some of the bigger enemies. Like if you can bounce on the heavy egg hammers even. Like if you can bounce on the weak spot on their heads while they're stood up. Pretty difficult to get that high, mind you, because you can't really jump that high. But if you can do it, great. And you can do it for the regular egg hammers as well. You can do it for everything that has multiple hits. Also allows you to really cheese your way past the Egg Hawk. That's if he does it though. I don't know how you get him to do it, but he does it quite a lot. So you shouldn't have any issues with actually trying to execute it. And Team Rose is the only team I know, back up there, when we were on the higher platforms before I took those rainbow rings, there's a hint ring that actually explains the auto homing function. Where if you're in power formation, you're not in your battle stance, your teammates will home in onto an enemy and automatically attack them. As far as I'm aware, Team Rose is the only team that explains that. Now you can find on YouTube videos that showcase every single bit of dialogue each character has. And I was listening to one from an Omega one, and he does actually explain the auto-homing. So, but I've never found any hint ring in any other team other than Team Rose that explains the auto-homing. So I'm wondering if it was some sort of dialogue that was going to be there for every team, but they decided, you know, Team Rose is the easy mode. We should probably have a few individual hints just for them. So I've never heard any other team explain the auto-homing other than Team Rose. But being easy mode, Team Rose also has a number of things that, well, I absolutely love. There's also pointless stuff like this. That's called the propeller hammer. If you hold the jump button down, don't do it again, so you don't do the homing attack. If you just hold down the jump button, Amy will eventually just start spinning her hammer around. And that will give her a little bit more airtime. I usually just forget it's there. I've never found any use for it. That would probably be the only time you ever see the propeller hammer, right there. And this is how you get A ranks for Team Rose. It's all about the time bonus here. Some of their A rank requirements are actually higher than Team Sonic, because it's all about trying to complete the level as fast as you can. You're still going to want to try and get as many points in the levels, but it's all about adding that to your time bonus. Because most levels shouldn't last any more than about 3 to 5 minutes. Right, let's see if I can actually finish the stage this time. I don't know what was going on there. This is the first level in which Big actually starts saying Froggy at the beginning of the level, which he's going to be doing quite a lot. We're going to be hearing the word Froggy a lot throughout this playthrough. And here's... I'm jumping the gun a bit here. It's not actually... We won't be hearing it until we get to... Well, we probably won't be hearing it at all, but when we get to fighting Team Sonic... And you can probably hear it the other way around, because the dialogue is pretty much the same. Like, if I was fighting... When I'm fighting Team Rose as Team Sonic, the dialogue is the same. So, yeah. The first thing we hear when we're fighting Team Rose is Amy will say, "Sonic, give up. This time you're mine." And then Sonic will say, "Amy, knock it off. There's no time to play." It'll be the other way around here. We'll hear Sonic's line first, and then it will be Amy's. The only difference really is that then after Amy speaks, Cream and Big have dialogue, which we don't hear during the intro against Team Rose. Same with Tails and Knuckles. But one of Sonic's lines during that fight will be, "I swear I don't know Froggy or Cheese's brother." Well, firstly, he knows Froggy because he met Froggy in Sonic Adventure. He helped Big rescue him from... Well, he didn't really help, but Big was there. He was there when Big rescued him out of Chaos 6's body. Granted, he didn't ever... I don't think he ever... No, I think Big did say Froggy's name, actually. So he should know who Froggy is. Okay, and he doesn't know who Chocola is. That makes sense. We never saw Chocola in Sonic Advance 2. And we never see him again after this for some reason. But he somehow knows that Chocola is Cheese's brother. Well, where does he get that bit of information from? I guess it's because it's Cream that's saying it. So he can probably assume that it has something to do with Cheese. But how did he learn that? It's like, he just assumes that it's Cheese's brother. I mean, you can just assume it's another Chao. You don't know if it's his brother. The Team Rose are actually the ones that have more enemies here. Those robots aren't there for any other team. There's also a special stage keeper. I'm going to be skipping those. You can see the turtles from here. I never noticed that. Yeah, Big returns from Sonic Adventure. There's no fishing, but Big is actually good in this game. He's still my least favourite of the power characters because I don't find his attacks to be as useful. I mean, Knuckles and Omega are definitely, I would say, the best ones when it comes to attacking. Knuckles in particular, since Omega slides around everywhere. because Big and Vector you don't have the fire dunk when you're jumping, but you do have a sort of fire dunk as their standard attacks. Like Big that serves an attack, and now we can fire dunk. You can do that when jumping as well. You don't have so much range if you use it when if you use it when jumping, you don't have very far range. You have a really good range when you're using it on the ground, and the characters will home in to any enemies that they go past whilst you're firing them. So overall, it is pretty useful, but you have to come to a standstill when using it. And his final attack, once you've leveled him up, he swings something at the end of his fishing rod, which has range, but it doesn't really do any damage to anything that's closer to him, and obviously it limits anything that's coming towards him. He can't attack things from too far away either. And you can jump to cancel the attack, but I don't really find any use for it, especially at level 1. I mean, the same could be applied to Knuckles as well. His level 1 attack isn't very powerful either. Big just fires some sort of lure thing at the end of it, and it's on fire, but it's not very useful. When you're at level 2, he fires like one of those inflatable rings, and that's on fire. And then at level 3, it's like a mace, a spiky mace, and that thing's pretty strong.
So you're the ones who are playing games with my army.
Dr. Eggman!
You little brats, I'll show you what they got to.
Yeah, Eggman says that same bit of dialogue at the beginning of the cutscene for every team other than Team Sonic. You're the ones who are playing games with my army. And for some reason, for Team Rose, the Egghawk is really dark during that cutscene. And it only happens for Team Rose. Right, I'm not getting him down very fast here. Right, Big, away! Right, yeah, see, if you can do it this way as well. I would recommend doing that for Team Chaotix, thanks to Vector's broken hammer down glitch. But that's what I would recommend just doing for Team Rose. And that was it. That's how fast I normally beat the Egghawk, including Team Sonic and Dark. Yeah, but Vector, he's actually broken in this fight. Right, let's head back to the old save file and boot things up from there.